Good morning and happy Sunday. A viewer recently sent me a question about her marriage, and before I even finished reading the page, one thought kept jumping off the page. I don't want to compete with your family for the marriage we're supposed to be building. Her husband's parents regularly insert themselves into decisions, and it creates conflict between the two of them. But what struck me wasn't the conflict itself, it was the fear underneath it. The fear that somewhere along the way, the marriage stopped feeling like the place where the two of them got to decide who they were becoming together. Here's today's question. What happens when your marriage stops feeling like the most important relationship in the room? I think this question lands because a lot of people recognize that feeling. They're not asking their spouse to stop loving their parents. They're trying to understand why they keep feeling pushed to the edge of decisions that directly affect their own lives. After a while, it stops feeling like a disagreement and starts feeling like uncertainty. You begin wondering whether there's still a place where the two of you can make decisions without feeling crowded by everyone else's expectations. And it usually doesn't show up all at once. It shows up when your spouse calls their parents after an argument before talking with you, or when a parenting decision changes because nobody wants to upset mom. It also shows up when somebody criticizes you at a family gathering and everyone quietly moves on as if nothing ever happened. None of those moments seem enormous by themselves. But over time, they start telling a story. And the story sounds something like this. When everyone else's voice enters the room, do you still have mine? That's the question I keep hearing underneath the viewer's message. Nobody gets married expecting to become second place inside their own marriage. People get married believing they found a teammate, someone they'll build a life with, trust when things get messy, and stand beside when life gets complicated. So when a spouse starts feeling like everyone else's thoughts matter more than the hurt sitting right next to them, the pain runs much deeper than the disagreement that's happening on the surface. Wanting your marriage to come first inside your marriage isn't a demand for control. It's a request for safety. And at the same time, the spouse caught in the middle is often carrying a different struggle. This usually isn't about choosing a parent over a marriage. It's about feeling pulled between two relationships they desperately don't want to lose. That's what ridiculously real mental health looks like here. Love and loyalty can pull in different directions without making anyone the villain. The danger is when the marriage quietly becomes the relationship that's always expected to adjust. And I think there are two questions that help bring this into focus. The first is simple. Whose comfort are we protecting right now? That question has a way of exposing what's really driving the decision. The second question is this. What would help you feel protected the next time this happens? And I love this question because it moves people away from blame and toward understanding. For some couples, it means agreeing to discuss family issues together before responding to anyone else. Those aren't dramatic changes, they're protective ones. A marriage doesn't need to reject family in order to protect itself. And it certainly doesn't need to become rude or distant. It just needs clarity. Sometimes that sounds like, we're going to talk about this together first. Those moments don't usually make headlines, but they build trust. So if this question feels familiar, I would start with the next disagreement. I'd start with the quieter question that's underneath it. And if your spouse has been trying to tell you they don't feel protected, don't listen only for the frustration. Listen for the question underneath it. When everyone else's voice enters the room, do you still have mine? Thank you for trusting me with this today. If you have a question for a future episode, email me at drshannon@kfvs12.com. And always remember, you are worth it. Lean into being the best version of yourself, one small step at a time. Happy Sunday.